Right. Y'all got a little more of the song that time. And how you feeling? Good to see y'all. TCR says hi from the planet of CFMs. Yeah, you know, I have to work really hard to not call call out loud people CFMs. But in my mind, trust me, all day long. It's deceptively beautiful, says Poppy, and where you are. Yeah, it's really nice here. It's actually warm. The sun's out. I swear to God, if the sun comes out and stays out, you know, in front of the clouds for even just a couple of hours here, it gets hot very fast. And so it is a nice, I'm wearing a t-shirt. It's a nice warm day. It's already kind of warming up in my studio. Yes. We are supposed to get another atmospheric river next week. So one more time around the merry-go-round for us. Anyways, it's Friday. It's Friday Fix. How y'all doing? We're live on Callin, Rockfin, and on YouTube. And thanks for hanging out with me today and all the days. Trust me, driving around the streets of LA will will cause you to curse out the CFMs all day long, and there are so many here, and it's unfortunate. I mean, people just are as smart as the information that they get, but you know, Oroville Dam is in danger of collapsing. Jesus, yeah. That happened a few years ago too. They actually didn't they have a bit of a collapse, or they actually had to let out some water from Oroville Dam, and there was quite a flood. This was like, I want to say 3 or 4 years ago. Anyways, it's Friday and we're kind of hanging out. We're just kind of taking it easy, having a little more interaction with the chats, and with the call-in people. The lines are open. If anybody wants to call in today, I'll take calls. Although people are slow to the gate at call-in right now, so. Orville doesn't seem that long ago. It doesn't seem that long ago. I think it was around 2018, but maybe the spillway washed out and could have undercut the dam. What year was that? I want to say it was like 2018, but maybe I'm wrong. 2017. So I was close. I was close. Not that far off. Also is, for anybody that cares or wants to toast to St. Patrick's Day. But yeah, it seems to be kind of a nice springish day today for a lot of people. Anyway, speaking of CFMs, I'll just keep it at CFMs. There's another Twitter file release from Matt Taibbi. Let's see. Should I talk about it now? Maybe, since we're here. We'll talk about some other things. There are so many things, so many stories to cover and talk about. There's European banking collapse going on. A bunch of banks in Europe are in trouble. Not just Credit Suisse, but some other ones showing signs of cratering. They're trying to shore it up, and I'm sure that they will. You know, it's an interesting thing because you have two conflicting thought bubbles going on in the world, in the culture right now. Which is, one is that they're trying to destroy us and they're taking down, they're demolishing society, and then there's another. There's actually another reality, which is that they are doing everything they can to keep this thing going, right? To keep this whole industrial civilization paradigm, whatever, right? You know, they might be trying to control it as much as they possibly can, but they are really trying, you know, everything they can to keep this going, right? So they're gonna bail out the banks, or they're gonna insure depositors, and they really don't want, you know, I mean, there is a thought that all these, you know, bank crashes are caused and they're on purpose or whatever, but it'll be socialism for the rich and, you know, bootstrapping for the poor, right? It'll be like, oh, sorry for your luck.
Unknown caller.
Sorry for your luck to the poors. Sorry you lost your job at Facebook or Walmart or wherever it was. But we're going to make sure all the venture capitalists and all those people get, you know, save their money. But there are signs of cratering going on for sure. But real quick, I just want to, I'll get into some other news, some climate stuff and whatnot, and because it's, you know, yeah, the rich are always protected, right? The rich are always got their butts covered. So don't you worry about a thing. If you already got money, don't worry, you get to keep it. But the Twitter files, there's another one. Twitter files number 19 from Matt Taibbi, the great COVID-19 lie machine. I mean, I'm not going to read through this whole thing. I'm giving you a synopsis, and the synopsis is there was a concerted effort, and there still is a concerted effort on many and I'm in danger of talking about this on YouTube, but it's on YouTube too and other platforms. Although, you know, it seems like YouTube might have relaxed some things here and there. basically social media and the media in general, created this narrative that was so rock solid around COVID and the vaccines and whatnot that even true information, right, countering the narrative, even information from the CDC, even information from Dr. Fauci, and you can go through this whole Twitter file. Basically, the narrative was, do what we say, believe what we say about this thing, and you can't counter it with any even accurate information, even things that come out of Dr. Fauci's mouth, even things that come from the CDC, even factual studies and whatnot. No, we're going to censor you if it counters what we're trying to say, which everybody knows. That's the known. That's the point. Oh, I am the science, right, Poppy Davis. It's a difficult thing when people are questioning the science and or questioning me and what I'm trying to do. Suddenly, Fauci became English. I am the science. He's English Italian. Anyways, everybody knows now. Well, maybe not everybody, because there's still, CFMs out there like, COVID is still really bad, and there's more COVID cases than ever, right? I haven't seen anything like that in the last couple months, but there were people still like, still trying to grind that out, like even a month or two ago. Oh, there's COVID cases are on the rise. Oh my God, what are we doing? I still see people on Twitter like, they're trying to tell you don't have to wear a mask anymore, and then, oh my God, everyone's gonna get, like, come on, it is way over. But like, anyways, the reality is that there was a COVIDians, exactly, branch COVIDians, there was a concerted effort to shape a narrative, and there's a concerted effort to shape a narrative to the extent that they were censoring anybody who was outside of the narrative, which is, some people might say unconstitutional, illegal, unethical, immoral, et cetera, et cetera. You can go on down the list. And, it's no wonder that so many people were taken by this, mirage that was put out there, right? It's no wonder that so many people were susceptible to this narrative shaping, right? And they bought the lie, and it's really hard. Once you buy the lie, it's really hard to give that up. It's really hard to turn around and go, oops, I'm sorry, I was wrong. But it's easy. That's how easy it is. Oh, I messed up. Yeah, I had a different take on this, and unfortunately the take was wrong. But there are still people going hard with this, and it's unfortunate. But what I wanted to say, the main point I wanted to say is, like, it's no wonder so many people were fooled and or misled and or, right, in the hallucination with everyone else. But you have a responsibility to figure out whether the thing that you're hearing or thinking or saying or doing, whether that's, a lot of people, due to fear and, things being a little, oh my God, everything's all out of control, and like, what is happening? And I don't know, and I'm afraid, and they're telling me this is really bad and everybody's going to die, right? Out of fear, a lot of people completely bought into this. And you still, even if you're totally afraid, even if everything is falling apart, even if everything's, falling down around you, you still have a responsibility to figure out whether the thing that you're parroting or believing in or trusting in, whether that's a real thing or not. You have a responsibility. So I understand that people were caught up in the hallucination or caught up in the fear or whatever it is, or the panic. I get it. Still, that does not absolve you. That does not absolve you. You got to be better than that. You got to do better. You really do. And because you can go really far down. This is the thing that's said about Hitler. Why did Hitler come to power? How did he come to power? Well, he had the whole, country supposedly in a hallucinatory grasp. And people just walked along with him, right? And some people just, completely drank the Kool-Aid, as it's called, Jim Jones style, and they drank it all the way to the end, right? But as time went on, people were like, I don't know. This is a little bit weird. I don't know if I want to play this game anymore. Yeah, but that's how it happens, is that you drink the Kool-Aid because everybody else is drinking this Kool-Aid. This is gonna do it. This will save us. This will cure us. This will get us to heaven. This will, fill in the blank. So it's your responsibility. It doesn't really matter what the situation is. It's still your responsibility to understand whether or not you are being lied to. That is your responsibility and nobody else's. All right? Okay. But interesting. I mean, it's an interesting thread. I suggest, I suggest reading it. It's information in here. Good information. Nadia says people are still dying in my building from COVID. Really? That sucks. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, but the reason why, anyways, but without going too deeply into it, I wonder. There's a reason. One of the reasons that people are dying from COVID is that not proper care. People like to say comorbidities, and sure, that's probably something that's in there too, but like not having the proper medicine or information about how to care for yourself when you do get COVID, that's a big thing. Right, from COVID or with COVID, that Outside Optics, very good question. Did they have COVID? Were they dying from COVID or did they die with COVID? How many of those people are vaccinated, I wonder, Nadia? Are those people vaccinated? And if they're vaccinated, that brings into a whole other range of factors into the question, right? Like, oh, I'm vaccinated and I got COVID, Well, that messes the whole thing up. That messes the whole story up. I don't know. I mean, all the way to the yeah, it's not a cycle. You mean creative experiments? You mean the cycle of experimentation? You know that the Spanish flu started in Fort Riley, Kansas. Fort Riley, Kansas, apparently due to an experimentation with a vaccine. So, if you want to know where the Spanish flu came from, that was not a naturally occurring pandemic. Okay, you look it up. You can find it on the internet. And I'm not saying that there isn't COVID. I'm not saying that people don't get COVID or don't even have long COVID or anything. But there are so many. You have to actually consider all the other factors involved. Physical factors involved, right? My first question is, are you vaccinated? And then you have to question, well, which thing is causing what? So that's not a pure, test, right? Like, I never got any medication and I caught COVID and now I have long COVID. But it's like people dying from AIDS that got AZT, which mimicked the side effects from AZT mimicked mimicked symptoms of AIDS. Well, how would you know? How would you know which one you had or which one was the factor in your demise? How would you know? So these are all. I'm not saying I have all the answers or I know for sure. I'm just saying these are really good questions to ask. You absolutely. Yeah, it just right. Anyways, and some people, right? People have all different experiences with COVID, etc. There was a study that came out from France. Was it 2021? That basically said long COVID was psychosomatic. It wasn't some people just making it up. There was a study done by doctors and whatnot, and you could say, well, I don't believe that study or I don't want to take it seriously, but consider the factor that it could be psychosomatic too, right? People are hypochondriacs. We have a nation of hypochondriacs. People, think they're sick, think themselves into being sick all the time. I've got something wrong with me. I got to go to the doctor right away and get a prescription for something, right? That's how people act in this country. We are a nation of hypochondriacs. So, like, if people say long COVID, okay. And then somebody's like, I don't know. I don't feel well. I don't feel right. Nothing's been right. Nothing's been right since I got COVID. Something's wrong. I mean, maybe you do have long COVID. I don't know. But maybe you're thinking yourself into it. Or maybe it's just, who knows? Again, these are all good questions to ask. I shouldn't even spend so much time on this. I'm spending a lot of time on this. Anyways, science does have some answers, and science also creates more questions. Is all I'm trying to say. All right. Well, here's another known. We knew this. In East Palestine, scene of a recent catastrophic train crash and chemical spill. Well, they've done some, we're testing the site, and there's the EPA scientists assessed a dioxin cancer risks threshold in 2010. But anyways, the derailment, chemical dioxins are like, what is it, hundreds or thousands of times higher than the safe limit in East Palestine. Contains dioxin levels hundreds of times greater than the exposure threshold above which Environmental Protection Agency scientists in 2010 found poses cancer risks. Hundreds of times. The EPA at the time proposed lowering the cleanup threshold to reflect the science around the highly toxic chemical. But the Obama administration killed the rules, and the higher federal action threshold remains in place. Oh, so, people are looking for people to blame, and right, it's Trump's fault, it's Biden's fault, somebody's fault. Well, looks like the EPA proposed lowering the threshold in 2010, and the Obama administration said, nah. So, it seems like there's a bipartisan effort to keep the rules a little lax and keep it a little easier for the companies to do their thing, right? Make the money, do the damage to the environment, not have to face too many penalties or cleanup costs. Anyways. This is, people have been saying this from the beginning of this disaster, and confirming what we already knew. That this is a very dangerous place to be. And that maybe you don't want to be there. Maybe that's it, But who knows? Maybe we don't want to be anywhere right now. Maybe everywhere is dangerous. From Doomer Girl News, the results reported in the journal AGU Advances shows that turbulence in the interior of oceans is more important for the transport of carbon and heat on a global scale than had been previously imagined. Giant underwater waves may afflict the ocean's ability to store carbon. Oh. Underwater waves deep below the ocean surface Some as tall as 500 meters play an important role in how the ocean stores heat and carbon, according to the new research. An international team of researchers led by the University of Cambridge, the University of Oxford, and the University of California, San Diego, quantified the effect of these waves and other forms of underwater turbulence in the Atlantic Ocean, and found that their importance is not being accurately reflected in the climate models that inform government policy. Most of the heat and carbon emitted by human activity is absorbed by the ocean. How much it can absorb is dependent on turbulence in the ocean's interior, as heat and carbon are either pushed deep into the ocean or pulled toward the surface, like in an El Nino. Right? That's the worry about the next El Nino, which may come and spit out some of that heat that the ocean has been sequestering. Ocean circulation carries warm waters from the tropics to the North Atlantic, where they cool, sink, and return southward in the deep ocean like a giant conveyor belt, or the AMOC, right? It plays a key role in regulating global heat and carbon budgets. Oh, what if the AMOC shuts down? What if the AMOC shuts or slows down? Well, then it's going to store a lot less heat, right? And or carbon. Turbulence is vital in its own right and plays a key role in how much carbon and heat gets absorbed by the oceans and where it gets stored. Many climate models have an overly simplistic representation of the role of micro-scale turbulence, but we've shown it's significant and should be treated with more care. For example, turbulence and its role in ocean circulation exerts a control over how much anthropogenic heat reaches the Antarctic ice sheet and the timescale on which that happens. The research suggests an urgent need for the installation of turbulence sensors on global observational arrays and a more accurate representation of small-scale turbulence in climate models to enable scientists to make accurate projections of the future effects of climate change. Obsolete Optics says, Sabine did a video recently on why the AMOC can't shut down. Oh, okay. I mean, that's interesting. It can slow down, though. I mean, hasn't it already? It's already slowed down. I mean, they've already, like, haven't they already, verified that it's slowing down? That's interesting. I'll see if I can find it. Golly, I only have so many hours in the day to watch videos. I really do. Well, some good news for California. Mandatory water restrictions have been lifted for several people. 7 million in Southern California following winter storms. So we got a little bit of a break. Yeah, we've been on water restrictions in Southern California since last summer. And they were pretty deep restrictions. I don't know, how some people completely did not observe these restrictions, and they probably ended up paying a lot more for water. They were penalizing people for using, more than a certain amount of water. They would just charge you, there'd be an upcharge. But some people were like, F it, I got the money, I'm watering my lawn. And other people, really took it to heart and didn't do that. But we'll see how long this lasts. 11th atmospheric river left the soaked state with a bang Wednesday. 11 atmospheric rivers. And I think we're getting number 12 next week. Anyways, the Metropolitan Water District of Southern California decided to end restrictions for now. People in Sedona, Arizona were told to evacuate because of flooding. Southern California flooding also closed several miles of the PCH, Pacific Coast Highway. Potholes disabled more than 30 cars on one Southern California. I can tell you right now, the potholes are really magnificent. I actually had my rim bent a couple of weeks ago from a pothole because the water is just washing out the roads. And so you got to be extra careful out there. You got to keep your eyes right on the road because you will hit one of these giant potholes and wham. You can do some serious damage. Mudslides reported in Baldwin Hills, in Orange County, near Newport Beach. Anyways, there's been a lot of damage. Sorry. Doing some heavy breathing. Another one from Doomer Girl News. The world is facing an imminent water crisis with demand expected to outstrip the supply of fresh water by 40% by the end of the decade. Right. Just when you think you're out of a drought due to an atmospheric river. Well, we have a worldwide water shortage, and that is, being felt in other places. Just because California's got a lot of water doesn't mean that's it. It's over. Let's look at this briefly. Global freshwater demand will outstrip supply by 40%. 40%. That's a lot of demand. By 2030. That's not far away, is it? The world is facing an imminent water crisis. Governments must urgently stop subsidizing the extraction and overuse of water through misdirected agricultural subsidies. There's that. And industries from mining to manufacturing must be made to overhaul their wasteful. So basically what they're saying is the entire industrial civilization is overusing water. How are we going to fix that? Well, we're going to change the practices. Okay. And then how's that going to impact how industrial civilization delivers its, consumables or whatever to the population of the world? They're not doing anything about this because it's systemic, right? This is ridiculous. Well, we got to just change the way we do things. Yeah. Okay. First of all, how about recognizing overshoot as an issue? We're going to be in a 40% water deficit by the end of this decade. And it's because of, agriculture, mining, manufacturing. Yeah, all the things we do to keep everybody alive. Okay. Well, adding another, 500 million people to the mix, surely I'm sure is going to help that situation, right? Sure, that's going to help the whole agriculture, mining, and manufacturing thing, right? Are we going to tell people maybe they should consume less things? Are we going to tell people maybe we should take it down a couple 80 notches? No, anything like that? No? Okay. Probably not. Probably not. Many governments still do not realize how interdependent they are when it comes to water. Most countries depend for about half of their water supply on the evaporation of water from neighboring countries, known as green water, because is held in soils and delivered from transpiration in forests and other ecosystems when plants take up water from the soil and release vapor into the air from their leaves. Did y'all know that? Anyways, I mean, you know that there's a water crisis because you can see it with you. You can see it when the Mississippi River is super low, or the River Po is super low, or the Rhine, right, or the Yangtze. All these rivers going super low, all in the same year. Wow, that's not good. That's not good. I'm sure there are a lot of people out there. Oh, they're just making that up. They're trying to scare you. I don't know, man. If the river gets so low that, boats can't travel or deliver, things can't get watered, if lakes and rivers get so low that things can't get watered, or, things can't go on, life can't go on in a normal fashion, well then, I don't know. Wonder what's going on. Maybe they're storing it all in a secret underground bunker. I mean, maybe, but probably not. No says reducing wasteful water practices probably equal 40% of the water use. Fair point. Fair point. But man, there is so much water used in, so many different production, the production of so many different things, right? Production processes is what I was trying to say. Shit ton of water, right? Like microchips, there was a microchip shortage. And what a lot of people didn't talk about was the reason for that shortage in, I think it was Taiwan, was that there was a lack of water available. They needed like fresh water to process these microchips, and there was a lack of water that inhibited the production. So all kinds of things use water and need fresh water. All right. We'll keep going. Extinction Rebellion has decided to call Doomers the bad people, I guess. I don't know. Jessica Lapp says, we've kind of stopped talking to Extinction Rebellion as they become so irrelevant, but really this. Telling the increasingly number of people who recognize the severity of our climate ecological predicament that they're part of the problem is a new low. XR says, Doomers are those who are trading our security, our suffering, our very lives to oil, gas, farming profits, dooming the life we know and the security of our ecology and climate. Doomers are not those who are calling out this murderous madness for what it is. I think they are. I think that was actually exactly what Doomers do, but I don't know. It's weird. I mean, there are people that are trying to equate doomism with denialism. Again, I guess I'm a doomer on one hand, but I'm not anti-hopium. I'm just trying to be realistic about our situation. So I'm not one of those like over the falls, it's all over, we're done and we're cooked and that's it, and don't worry about it. But I am realistic to the point where I think like, well, it's not looking so good. And so, given that information and the lack of the likelihood that we're all going to just get it together. And I don't say we shouldn't stop trying to get it together. We should always try to get it together. But you know we're here right now. We're all here together on the planet right now, and maybe enjoy your days, enjoy the day, enjoy what you can in life. As Hambone says, get out there and enjoy it. Right? Get out there and enjoy it, Or as Guy McPherson says, do what you love, or whatever it is, love the ones you're with. Do joyful things, right? Experience what you can of life, because it might get a little bit not fun in the future. So enjoy normalcy. I'm enjoying normalcy. I'm really trying to enjoy normalcy before it becomes super not normal and a little bit scary. So do I hope that we get it together? Yeah, I do. I really do. Is there a chance that we can get it together? Slim. I'm not willing, I'm not going to be the one to say, like, that's it. Stop. You can stop now. I wouldn't say that, but I'm just saying I'm talking in probabilities, and I'm talking in percentages, likelihoods. Is not looking so likely. So, given that information, I'm not saying go out and be a hedonistic jerk. Don't go out and be a hedonist. Don't go out and go, whatever. I'm getting me one of them new Ford F-150s, and a Winnebago, and a boat, and a yacht, and but I'm not saying, don't deny yourself any any pleasures, because time is limited, most likely. Enjoy yourself. Just don't be a jerk about it. That's all I'm saying. Try not to be too I don't know. Just don't be just an absolute disgusting glutton. France, they're going at it. They're going hard. We're going to talk about France trying to get it together and do something, right? These are humans that are trying to get it together, even though they're talking about their pensions. They're not necessarily doing this to save themselves from the eventual onslaught of climate change. French see dictator unilaterally raise retirement from 62 to 64, instant unrest. Meanwhile, Americans are about to see retirement go from 67 to 70, and we just shrug it off. And that, pretty much, that's how it's going to happen. People did get out in the streets in America to protest this or any other thing. I'm sure a lot of people would protest the protest because they're full of anti-vaxxers. Something like that. They're full of people we don't truck with. Okay. Here's more in France. It's kicking off right now in Paris. Anyways, they're really out there. Hold on, I'm jumping around here a little bit. But I do want to say, Gotta get it. You know, if we're gonna make some changes, um, it's not gonna happen without something that looks like that. Something that looks like that. Revolutionary Blackout Network actually tweeted something interesting the other day that I thought was saying that nothing is going to change until there is a violent revolution. And I'm not saying violence, violence. That's not what I'm saying. But I think the whole peaceful thing is a respectability trap. It's a respectability trap. You know? Oh, we got to do it like this. Or you're being too threatening. Your words are violence. Okay. Yeah, respectability trap. Don't fall for it. Fuck you. That's what I think about it. Right? Sorry if I offended you, but not really. No, we're not doing it. You know what I mean? You got to get out there and you got to stand in the breach, which is what the people of Paris are doing, and also what Claire Daly is doing in the EU Parliament, talking about what's going on with the U.S.
That we're looking at the future of the European External Action Services under the title of Stronger EU in the World, when the truth is that the world, particularly the places where the majority of the world's population live outside the global north, are shaking their heads in disbelief at the weakness of the European Union and its subservience to US empire, even when it's blatantly against our own interests. Instead of championing peace in Europe, overcoming differences and difficulties through dialogue and diplomacy, we've acted as a pawn for NATO, captured by the military-industrial complex, imposing sanctions, and now we have an energy crisis, a cost of living crisis, an angrier nuclear power on our doorsteps, and the Inflation Reduction Act. If we want to be stronger, stop playing US war games. Stop antagonizing our trading partners. Stop interfering and trying to have regime change in countries we don't like. Stop robbing the global south. They're not going to take your colonialism anymore. If you want to be stronger, stand up for international law, for UN principles, multilateralism. In other words, the opposite of what you're doing now.
Right on. Yes, obsolete optics. Non-violence protects the state and enables its monopoly on violence. Exactly. That's another Jedi mind trick there. Not that I'm not not to disrespect what MLK or Gandhi did, people that led non-violent revolutions, but I mean, that's all they did. It was a tactic. But there was also there were also other forces in there too, right? They weren't it wasn't their particular tactic alone that changed the whole thing, right? That's a misunderstanding of. They were just one arm of an opposing faction, right? So MLK wouldn't have happened without Malcolm X, right? And actually the threat of actual violence, and same Gandhi. There were other groups in India that were plenty violent. So just saying the nonviolent thing is a trap. It's a respectability trap. The peaceful protest thing, it's a respectability trap, just so you know. And again, I was talking about this thing with the drone, and I'm like, I don't believe this story necessarily. And they're totally jumping all over this, trying to get, we got to do something. We got to do something. We got to do Russia there. Look at them. Watch out. Not so fast. They're really like going after this drone thing to try and, a drone, right? You guys messed up our drone. Drones are people, just like corporations. Is that what they're trying to say? You messed up. You hurt the drone's feelings. That drone's not going to sit down. It's not going to take this sitting down. That drone is mad. It's a drone. Anyways, this is scary talk.
Dangerous provocation by Russia brought about by years of President Biden's weakness. It's not just Russia. We've seen this with other countries as well. China dangerously buzzes our aircraft in the South China Sea. Iran is downed drone in the Persian Gulf.
Biden's weak. Ronald Reagan would have been all up in their fuel holes or something.
Dangerously harasses our manned aircraft off the Alaska coast and in the Eastern Mediterranean. So President Biden needs to come out and forcefully make it clear that we will not tolerate this kind of provocative action. If we don't put our foot down when Russia downs one of our unmanned aircraft, we will invite Russia or China, Iran to perhaps down one of our manned aircraft. So what can we do? Well, first, they should put up another drone today on the exact same flight pattern, the same airspace, to make it clear we will not be intimidated.
Let's antagonize them. let's taunt them some more. Let's keep poking them. Let's keep doing. Yeah, that's what we should do. God dang it, these people are insane. Absolutely insane. They're, and this is called manufacturing consent. Don't fall for it. Don't take the bait. But they don't need you in the equation. That's the whole thing of manufacturing consent is that, like, the media or the government or either one, right? It's just like a game of, patty cake or some light catch. The media goes, oh, this is really a problem. The government goes, oh, we heard this is really a problem. We should do something about it. The media is like, yeah, when are you going to do something about it? And the government goes, oh, we're going to do something about it right now. That's manufacturing consent. They don't even need you in the equation. It's like, Biden getting out there and saying, like, the American people aren't stupid. They know that we need to cut Social Security and Medicare. American people are like, what? We weren't even in the. What are you talking about? We like Social Security. Wait, no, we want. What are you talking about? He tried to go. He's like, American people, come on, man. You're on my side. But that you don't even. It's like somebody gets on TV. In that case, an actual government. What do you call those blow up dolls that just like rock back and forth? I don't know. He's just a government stooge, right? He gets on TV and he's like, this is what we got to do. And person, very serious person. Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, I think we should. The American people have spoken because Biden said so. That's manufacturing consent. It's just like you don't even need people's input from this. You just play the game of like, here, you take it. Social media is really a problem. There's extremism going on. Social media is this feeding domestic terrorism, whatnot. Oh, we should really do something about the social media. We got to crack down on it. Yeah, but no, everybody on social media is like, oh, we're just talking about things over here. We're just actually trying to get to the truth, and we're, just having a kind of an open discussion over here. Oh, but we heard people are being harassed, and they're really, they're afraid for themselves because of social. They just manufacture the consent for their own censorship, right? You don't even, yeah. Obsolete says wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube. Man, yes. I mean, that was the whole thing with Iraq, right? Oh, Iraq, weapons of mass destruction, and the media is like, well, apparently they have weapons of mass destruction. We should go over there right away. When are we going to do something about this? Oh my God! And then the government's like, oh yeah, we really got to do something about this, right? Right? We've heard from the American people. What? No, we don't. No, we don't. No, we don't want to go. No, we don't want to go over there. What's up, William? How you doing?
And there were Iraqi hijackers. If you believe the hijack narrative, there were none named.
I know.
There were 15 Saudis, 2 United Emirates, right?
Right.
But we don't even have to unpack that one, do we?
Right. No.
They took down 3 buildings with 2 planes. Let's not forget about that.
Exactly.
You know?
It was very very special planes. Right on. Yeah, man. So what's going
Very
on today,
special.
William?
Well, today, let's see. I had mentioned it before, and you hadn't had a chance to go over, so I brought it into the live chat again. Maybe if not today. I know you're at the end of your show.
Yeah, I'm actually about to wrap it
the
up.
CDC silence? Okay. Why? Well, just I don't know if you want to talk about it in the future, but for your audience, why did the CDC silence the Harvard Pilgrim Project that was supposed to? They had known for 2 decades that the VAERS reporting system is completely inadequate, so they allocated millions of dollars and did nothing about it.
Right.
Yeah, I wonder why. Maybe Big Pharma doesn't want that to be accurate.
Sure.
You think? God forbid, then they could be held liable.
Exactly.
Look at that. This report was created in the 1990s, early 1990.
Yeah.
How many decades is that? The 3 decades, just 3.
Right.
Then you have the whistleblower now. No one's listening to him. The former vice president. They had all these hearings, right? We just had these hearings on COVID, and we had Redcliffe. Redfield.
He was a former
testify, and it was good testimony.
Was he the former Surgeon General? Or no?
CDC, wasn't he?
Was he head of the CDC? Maybe he's head of the CDC.
I'm thinking.
Right, but he testified that they kept him out of the loop about where
he had evidence about
where it came from.
2014 of the Fair and Cleavage site being lab created.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So how do you get a Wuhan bat virus randomly come up out of nowhere? But the Cleavage site is obviously lab created. He explained exactly how and why. So they want to keep him out of the loop. But you also have Andrew Huff, who's a former vice president of EcoHealth Alliance, who's had all the documents and has a lawsuit with Rensselaer going after. Wait a minute, I got my names mixed up here. The former vice president, the truth about how the Wuhan uncovered the biggest lie. Andrew Huff reported to Dr. Peter Daszak. That name's familiar.
Peter Daszak,
yeah, that's who he's outing. Daszak and Fauci and NIAID in that lawsuit. So there's information there you may be interested in. We could talk about. There's 2 articles there I put in. One has the embedded documents, a Gateway Pundit article. The other one's a Children's Health Defense. 51 minutes of him talking there. That's an interesting one.
That's one I want to watch. I just haven't. Again, I have limited. I have so many videos to watch and limited.
Sure.
I can't. I could spend all day watching videos, but then I wouldn't get anything else done. But thanks for the link for that. You sent me that link the other day, and I will. I'm going to give that one a look. Right on. Well, hey William, I gotta wrap up my show, and
okay.
And
great.
I took your call. You called in kind of right at the end there, but I hate to cut you off, but I'll be back tomorrow.
Hey, listen,
I'll be back tomorrow.
When do you think? Let's see, tomorrow's for today, but the Wednesday, right? It's Saturday. Anyway, give me a heads up when you know what day you could DM me. I'd love to hear go over this one with Dr. Huff, and got a question: why wasn't he brought into these hearings?
Right.
Vice President, who's got direct documents.
Yeah. Are you? So, I'm just going to answer, Poppy. Are you talking about the same testimony, the Redfield testimony? She's asking about. I was skeptical about scientists being controlled. On a large scale until I saw the testimony. Yeah, Yep. I was just watching a little bit. I didn't watch the whole thing, but I did watch a little bit of that. Why don't we talk about it tomorrow? We'll do it like the last half of the show. I'll do just rock.
Okay, that'd be great.
And we'll discuss it tomorrow. Let's try that.
Very good. Thank you.
All right, William. Thank you.
You're welcome. Buddy.
All right, everybody. I got to get out of here. Thank you so much for your eyes, your ears, and your conscience. Forgot to let you know that a really good way to support the show is buymeacoffee.com/blackbearnews or Rockfin Tips. Also very good. Super chats, great, happily accepted, and also Venmo and Cash App. Links in the description box of all the platforms I'm on. All right, guys. Thanks. I will see you all tomorrow at the regular time of 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Is it standard or daylight? It's daylight now. Pacific Daylight Time. I think I've been saying that for a couple of days. Yep. I'll see you then. Until next time. Peace.